Hey everybody, it is Thursday, right here midday on April 18th, 2013. I've just finished the Thursday show. Only one day lies ahead, and that's Friday. That's when we get up extra early, and I hope you'll get up with me. 5 a.m. for Bill Bennett's Morning in America, 5 to 8, and then locally 8 to 10. It's our big marathon day. And I'm going to need just about every minute of those 5 hours to wedge in all the events of the week gone by. Any Friday is busy, a kind of a retrospective of stuff that has come in the days before. But this has just been a crazy week. I mean, I guess I'm just sitting there waiting for whatever the next thing is that's going to blow up. It has been the week of bombings. And along with that, another thing has blown up, metaphorically speaking, and that is the conspiracy pipeline. Let's spend a couple of minutes on both. Let's kind of move chronologically. So on Monday at the Boston Marathon, an iconic American location, an iconic American city, I guess an iconic American day, if that's the right adjective to attach to Tax Day, April 15th. Who among us hasn't wanted to blow something up on Tax Day? You could almost joke, but there is no joke about the actual Boston Marathon bombing and the horrible things that we have seen, and yet the wonderful things that we have seen. As I wrote this past week in the Dallas Morning News, my Wednesday column, no individual evil can outweigh what happens when you see the good in people. The number of people, I mean, first responders, obviously, they're supposed to, they're paid to, but they do so also because it's the kind of people they are. But from runners who had just finished a 26-mile race, turning around and then running toward the trouble, from bystanders, passers-by, attendees who ran toward trouble rather than away from it. That's what I choose to hang on to, the uplifting part of human nature that we saw. And we saw that also last night here in our own portion of Texas, in West Texas, Texas, the town of West, which is south of DFW. A fertilizer plant explodes, and once again, first responders and just regular people rushing toward trouble, which our instincts tell us not to do. I mean, our raw instincts, our raw self-preservation instincts tell us, oh, I got to get out of here. But people thwarted that. They overcame that, and they gave of themselves to help their fellow man. So, and obviously that at the moment seems to be a tragedy unrelated to any kind of human misdeed. I guess we'll see about that. But still, the same kind of uplifting evidence of a good portion of human nature, which I will continue to believe outweighs the bad. But here in the talk show universe, it's unavoidable. April 15th, it's tax day. And all of us who are conservative, we were just waiting. Okay, let's have somebody in the dominant media culture try to blame this on the Tea Party. Come on, make our day. No one really did exactly, but there was a lot of flavor of Chris Matthews and whoever. That's why MSNBC exists at this point, to give me show material, I sometimes feel. But as Boston Day 1 turned into Boston Day 2, Boston Day 3, and then you get to a fertilizer plant exploding, not so very far from Waco, not so very far from April 19th, which is the anniversary of the end of the Waco siege, and also subsequently the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, and amid a week in which we're all wondering who did this and why, it's enough to make you crazy. So I offer the following, advice on how to keep your mental stability. It's working pretty well for me. Number one, admit you have no idea what happened. Admit that we have no idea whether it's some Saudi guy or some disgruntled guy from St. Louis. Now, that having been said on the Boston story, then as weird things come into the news, and then you got to notice where things are coming from. There are trust deficits with almost every major news source. I mean, is ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, even Fox News always right, always shooting straight with us? And then you get to, your Newsmax.com people, which are great, and they often are there, as a lot of other sort of tabloidy sources are. They're often there first with the right stuff because they got the guts to run it and nobody else does. And then you have people. There's a gentleman with Jihad Watch who was on with Hannity last night as we're speaking, giving us the following story. And here at roughly lunchtime on Thursday, it's still kind of nebulous, but it goes like this. The Saudi guy in Revere, Massachusetts, the 20-year-old Saudi national who we've heard about there for a couple of days, who is a person of interest, is being spirited out of the country. He is being deported back to Saudi Arabia for national security reasons. Really? And this comes after a Tuesday when the Saudi foreign minister met with Secretary of State John Kerry in what was supposed to be a photo op, cameras, reporters, whole shebang, and then that got shut down. Really? Then the following day, Wednesday, the same Saudi foreign minister meets with President Obama. That's fine too, but it didn't appear on the president's public schedule. Really? So I don't know what's going on, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, that's it. We clearly have the bomber. He's the Saudi guy, and we're spiriting him away to Saudi Arabia so that our supposed allies in the Saudi royal family won't suffer the stain of embarrassment. I don't know that, and I would not proclaim that. But you know what stinks? I can't discount it. I cannot sit here and say, oh, this administration would never do that. So that's what we're left with. So along this entire theme, sort of follow the following path. Be open to anything. Anything may be true. Anything may happen. When you know so little, almost anything could rush in to fill that vacuum. But keep your bar high. Keep your standard high for stuff that's in your inbox from your brother-in-law or any one of a number of other things or various. I would say of various websites and news sources, the same thing I would say of talk shows. Consumer, proceed with caution. Consider the source. Look for something to come at you from 2 or 3 or 4 or 12 different sources so that it kind of adds a corroborative value before you immediately embrace it and start to run with it. In the meantime, I'll be there just trying to be a responsible soul, figuring out what's going on with your help on the phone line. So I really look forward to the Friday show nationally with everybody there on Bill Bennett's Morning in America 5 to 8 tomorrow, Friday, and then 8 to 10 locally, and then into the weekend, and heaven only knows what happens there. And we'll be back for a fresh start the following week, following these stories to their natural conclusions. Much appreciate the opportunity each day to chronicle history with you as it happens. And thanks for listening every day to The Mark Davis Show here on 660 AM, The Answer.